Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you a new series. First of all, link will be down in the description if you want to check it out for yourself guys and enjoy. Today I'm going to be giving you part 1 of what if Naruto was the Uchiha clan hope. The hope of the Uchiha clan guys. If you enjoyed this and you want to see part 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. And also, yes, I posted a brand new series over on Anime King 3 of what if Naruto was exiled from the Otsutsuki clan over on Anime King 3 guys. Go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. And also I posted a brand new episode of what if Naruto was put through hell and adopted by the Raikage over on Anime King 2, so go ahead and enjoy that as well. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new series? Link will be down in the description. Start the intro. Ninshu shall unite humanity. Those were the last words of Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the sage of the sixth path, the creator. Since the beginning of time, the human race has embroiled themselves into conflict of power, greed. It was a cycle of never-ending violence that was supposed to end when the sage taught humans how to use chakra. With that gift, he had hoped to give peace, but yet these humans had the gift of destroying themselves, just by causing an endless cycle of pain and misery and anguish. The chakra that was supposed to unite became the greatest catalyst between his two sons, Indra and Ashura. If only Hagoromo knew that humanity emotions were too twisted to be used for the right, and granting them power would only enable them to cause more wide-range destruction. But he thought he was doing the right thing. A proof of that was a conflict between his sons. The conflict began over a simple matter of succession. Which one of them was going to succeed him? And that was the beginning of the massacre that went on for centuries. A massacre that still happened every single day. Chakra was weaponized by the sage elder son Indra, being the firstborn and the most powerful. He thought it was his right to succeed his father, but the sage chose the younger brother, and that created a divide between the younger brothers that split them forever. Ashura, the younger brother, loved his older brother, but he was a dutiful son of his father. He tried to make peace, but the sage named him as a successor, and it divided the world. Those who loved the sage above all pledged their loyalties to Ashura, and those who loved Indra pledged their loyalty and their families to him. And it started the infinite war. As time passed, the brothers passed on. Their respective supporters transformed their families into ninja clans, the Uchihas and the Senju, that kept on fighting even after the brothers passed away. No one really remembered correctly what the conflict was about, as it just came about their pride, revenge and dominance, one wanting to overthrow the other. It was no longer about what the two brothers wanted. The war had taken a mind of its own. More people started to rise, and they saw that these two factions are quite powerful, so they started to hire them for their own means, hiring the Senjus and hiring the Uchihas, using them just to cause more conflict and chaos. Most thought the Uchihas would win out quickly, seeing that they were more powerful, strengthened by their eyes. But the Senjus proved to be resilient and intelligent, as they create a larger faction by using cooperation, marriages, money, and other benefits. The Uchihas had a major flaw that they got from their founder Indra, and that was their superiority. The Uchihas believed in their skills, and especially their Sharingan. They were the best. They had arrogance and a lot of it. The Uchihas didn't form alliances like the Senjus. They believed the lower clans were nothing but pathetic weaklings who couldn't match up to the might of a Uchiha, and they should bow down to them. It led to their isolation by the other clans. But despite that, they continued to fight because their Sharingan was that powerful. Yet, as the centuries passed and the conflict started to increase, the Uchihas started to lose. Their power started to dwindle down as more and more clans started to join the Senjus, only fueling the Uchihas' anger. In their mad quest for power, they established in the clan members, wedding, siblings, cousins, to keep their bloodline pure, to prevent outsiders from corrupting their future generation. It became so bad, any clan member that married outside the clan and spread the bloodline with someone else outside the clan, they were killed along with their children. So instead of killing their enemies, the Uchihas started to kill themselves. The Senjus took advantage of that as they started to wipe out the Uchihas one after another. But something then happened that made it worse for the Uchihas, the Sharingan. It vanished. It came worse as it carried on. Doctors presumed that it was because of the inter-clan marriage, but members were not awakening the Sharingan. Another century passed and it became worse, as it was dying down and becoming weaker. At this very moment, Tajima Uchiha watched as a group of boys performed their martial art practice in an open field area. There were 5 of them, all wearing the same armor of the Uchihas. They were blood brothers. Tajima, 5 sons, heirs to the house of the Uchiha. The proud father smiled as he saw his 2 eldest battling each other. Despite only being 8 and 7 years old, Madara and Izuna was Tajima's pride. Their house might have weakened, but it has not diminished their superiority in ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, kinjutsu, and many other arts. They were proud warriors and they still had enough numbers to continue their bloody war against the Senjus. Madara released a fireball, and so did Izuna, as the 2 attacks canceled each other. Madara was Tajima's firstborn and strongest son. He had inherited all of Tajima's strength and looks. He was a skilled warrior, worthy of leading the clan in the future. And unlike his other sons, he was not soft. Izuna was the second son, 7 of age, successor of the house if Madara died. While not as strong as his brother, Izuna was loved by his clansmen. He was a good leader, efficient fighter, and he supported all of his brothers. He then watched his 3rd and 4th son continue their shuriken practice together. The twins, Yasharu and Inabi, look identical, and they shared their father's looks. They were young boys of 6 years old, and they were decent fighters, although they were too arrogant for their own good, a trait that Tajima knew will harm them on the battlefield. And then there was his last and youngest son. As Tajima looked at the boy, every time he looked at him he saw her. He had brown hair, fair complexion. He was a spitting image of Tajima, deceased wife, Hikari Uchiha. Naruto Uchiha, 5 of age, 5th and youngest son, was different from his brothers. It was not just the looks, but what he represented made him a pariah amongst his people. Hikari had died, giving birth to the boy, and giving him his name. Tajima loved his wife and it broke him when she died. He had tried being a dutiful father to his 5 motherless sons, as well as the head of their ancient, noble house, a task made even more difficult with the Senjus breathing down on their necks. As Naruto grew up to be a kind, happy child, loving his elder brothers even if some of them blame him for their mother's death, Tajima had remained indifferent to the boy and only provided him with the basic needs. Naruto was not as strong as his brothers, or had the strong will necessary of Uchiha. He loved too much, he forgave too much, and most of the time he was oblivious to the world around him. And to him, Naruto would never be someone worthy or useful to the clan. The only reason why Tajima hasn't disowned him was because he needed heirs in this world where children die rather easily. And most of all, Hikari had made him promise to look after the boy. With Tajima being, well, indifferent to the boy, the clan also lost interest in him and ignored the boy. He was nothing but a spare heir and a weakling. The strong survive, the weak will die. Tajima frowned when Yasharu and Inabi mocked their youngest brother. When he could not produce a fireball, and he started to cough his lungs out. Bloody weakling, Inabi spat distastefully. Yasharu went forth to bump his brother in the head, but a shadow stepped in between him. Looking up, he saw Izuna glaring down at him. What were you gonna do? Yasharu clenched his fist as he glared at his scared Naruto. Teach him a lesson. He's a weakling and a disgrace to our clan. He can't even form a simple fireball jutsu, Yasharu said angrily. He flinched when Izuna gave him a cold look. He's our brother. He killed mother, Inabi said in frustration. Izuna stepped forward as Tajima was about to intervene, but Madara grabbed the two younger boys by their collars. Come, I'll teach you a new jutsu at the lake, he said with a grin. Really, big brother? The both of them said. They had joy in their eyes. Madara was their hero after all. Yes, so go along now. The two brothers cheered, completely forgetting their anger as they rushed off. Madara saw that Izuna was still angry as he placed a hand on his shoulder. Let it go, Izuna, they're kids. But Izuna glared at him. Naruto is our brother. Madara saw the weak boy looking at him. He didn't hate him like Yasharu and Inabi, but he didn't love him as well. In this regard, he was just like his father, tolerating Naruto, but not doing anything else. Izuna was the only one that cared for him and looked after him. Fine, but don't try to play favorites, Izuna. Yasharu and Inabi are both her brothers as well. So is Naruto. Madara sighed. His brother was stubborn and he would not relent. Very well. With that, Madara moved towards the lake to join his two brothers. A furious Izuna turned towards her father and saw the man giving him a firm look. Do you have something to say, boy? Tajima asked, as Izuna clenched his fist shut. No, father. As Izuna turned, as the father marched away. As Izuna saw Naruto burn lips. Big brother, can you teach me a jutsu? Please, Naruto asked. You are injured, Izuna said as he tried to touch his burned lips. No, he moved back. I can fight, just like you, he proclaimed with such confidence that broke Izuna's heart. But the truth was Naruto couldn't perform the jutsu well. Every Uchiha had to perform the rite of passage that was a fireball jutsu at the age of 6. In a few weeks, his birthday will come, and he will have to pass. However, Naruto was struggling. But if he feared the rite of passage, Izuna feared that he would become more hated in the clan, because the Uchihas never tolerated the weak. The only reason Naruto had a comfortable life was because he was a son of clan head. A despised son, but a son nonetheless. I'll teach you, but tomorrow, now. We need to heal our injuries. He shook his head. Now, he said. Izuna smirked as he was demanding to learn. But he looked like he was about to fall over from exhaustion. It was why Izuna loved him so much. He was a stubborn fool, but he never gave up. A child who was determined to prove himself despite no support from his blood family. Well, I can, but then I will have no time to treat you to ramen, Izuna said, with a hidden smile. If possible, it seemed like Naruto regained his lost energy as he leaped up in the air, all excited, completely forgetting the cold treatment given to him by his elder brothers. Ramen yelled, a fist pumped up in the air. Izuna chuckled. One smile from Naruto could take away a day's worth of his fatigue. As he offered his back, as Naruto leaped and jumped up on his back. You're the best, big brother, Naruto yelled, nearly making Izuna go deaf. How could the Uchiha be that loud? Izuna watched as their father was looking at them. He had a strange look in his eye. He simply gave a respectful nod to his father as he started to march off into town. Time skip. As Naruto observed the vast town built by his ancestors, it was so huge, so many pretty lights and so many people trying to sell so many things. As he saw toys in a nearby shop, but he then remembered what his father said: Uchihas play with swords, not toys. They use swords in battle, not even play with them. He had to remember that. His father was stern about it when he said it. Still, Izuna saw him looking at it, so he bought it for Naruto as Naruto happily kissed his brother's cheek, which earned him a laugh. His favorite brother. As Naruto was happy when he was with him, Izuna never scolded him. Well, okay, maybe. When he sneaked out of the city at midnight. Those were the only times that his brother was furious with him, warning him that the world was dangerous, especially for Uchiha. Naruto did not know why Izuna said that, but he obeyed his brother nonetheless. Yasharu and Inabi were always mean to him, making fun of him, and trying to hit him whenever they could. Madara would always stop it when he noticed, but his elder brother never talked to him much, and it hurt. Big brother, does Madara hate me? Izuna stared at him in surprise, as he was taking them to the infirmary to heal Naruto's lips. No, Madara is busy. He's the heir to our house, the future leader. He just has a lot of stuff to do. He talked with Yasharu and Inabi, but not with me. I don't like him, said Naruto as his cheeks puffed with anger. No, said Naruto cutting him off. I have you. I don't need him. Or stupid Yasharu. Or stupid Inabi. As Izuna chuckled a bit, at times he had to remind himself that Naruto was still a child. He was yet to see the battlefield, something his other brothers has already done in different fashions. Madara and Izuna had fought in the front lines, even Yashiro and Inabi had fought under their father's guidance. Naruto was the youngest, and as much as Izuna hated it, he had to accept that Naruto wasn't much stronger. Maybe he would be a father and Madara gave him a chance, but that wasn't about to happen anytime soon. Their family had never been the same after mother died. Izuna loved all of his brothers. He respected Madara, he looked after the twins, but he doted on his baby brother Naruto more. People said that he looked like mother, and he knew his mother would love it if he looked after the youngest. Seemed that the others would not. As he got Naruto to the infirmary and summoned a medic to heal his wounds, his brother was given instant attention. After all, they were the sons of the leader of the house. The medic even gave him some toffees. As Naruto had a broad smile on his face, as she bandaged up his wounds. "Should we go for ramen?" Izuna asked. "Yes," Naruto said. As Naruto ran out to the infirmary, making two of the nurses lose their bands and drop on their butts. He apologized as he rushed off his brother. "Not so fast," he said. But his warning was too late as Naruto bumped into a guard patrol. They were about to scold him, but then they noticed who he was, so they just gave him some stern looks. As Izuna stepped forward, the guards flinched upon seeing him. They apologized to Naruto and made their way off. They know their place. Still, as he stepped forward, he bumped Naruto in the forehead. "Hey," said Naruto. "Watch where you're going, baby brother," Izuna said. Naruto huffed as he sat down right in the middle of the street, folding his arms across his chest. Izuna saw many ladies and girls swooning over the young boy, but the men were giving him disapproving looks for such childish behavior. Izuna poked him on the forehead. "Let's race then," he said. As Naruto got to his feet with a smile, as the both of them ran off. Time skip. Madara found his two brothers. As Naruto was gulping down his third bowl of ramen, Izuna was watching him fondly. As he watched those two interact, Madara felt a bit of jealousy. He and Izuna was close as brothers, but the bond that Izuna and Naruto share were something else. Madara didn't know what to feel towards his younger brother. He was family, but he had hazy memories of the day his mother died, giving birth to Naruto. He could still remember her asking him and Izuna, her eldest sons, to look after the younger ones. And Madara tried to fulfill her wish. He had looked after Yashiro and Inabi in life and war, but he was not there for Naruto. Maybe it was just how similar he looked to their mother, or how innocent he was comparing to their hard, hatred clan. And Madara didn't know how to interact with the boy. He didn't want to be cruel, like Yashiro or Inabi, but he didn't have the same cheeriness like the boy at all. But one thing was for sure, he was a Uchiha, and Madara would protect him. He would protect all of them. With a sigh, he came over. "Izuna," he said. As Izuna turned as Madara, hearing that voice, Naruto buried his head into his half-empty ramen bowl. "Come join us, brother," said Izuna. "Father wants you to accompany him to a meeting with the elders," informed Madara. "Okay, just let me jump Naruto home," and Madara shook his head, cutting him off. "Now, and don't argue because you know you cannot." "I will take him home," said Madara. Izuna was not comfortable with the idea, but when father said something, he would do it, without any questions. As Izuna nodded, Madara could see that Naruto wanted to run as well, but Izuna whispered something to him. As Naruto nodded, before leaving he turned. "Try to talk with him, Madara. He's your brother." Izuna. "Takashi died 2 days ago on a mission. He was just 6, brother." "What's your point?" said Madara. "Life is too short for regrets," said Izuna. Madara was stunned still. Sometimes Izuna said something that was showing his true intellect beyond his age. As he looked over at his youngest sibling, he walked over and sat down beside the boy. Despite having an age difference of just 3 years, Madara felt like they were years apart. Still, he had to try for Izuna's sake at least. "I heard you got injured in training." "Yes, brother, just a little," said Naruto. As Madara flinched, the boy's voice was filled with fear. Had he terrified the boy that much? "How goes your shuriken training?" he asked. "Very good. I can hit 3 targets right in the center at once," said Naruto. Madara grinned a bit. Maybe his brother had some hope after all. "Would you like to show me when you reach home? I'm free for the rest of the day," Madara suggested. He could see the boy was nervous, so he decided to make him a little more relaxed. "If you prove what you say, I will teach you one jutsu." As a hungry look arrived in Naruto's eyes, he wanted to learn from his eldest brother, who people call a prodigy. He had yearned for it for so long. It made Madara a bit sad. I'll do it. Then you teach me a super cool jutsu. Yes, said Madara. Before he could say anything, Naruto pulled out the money and placed it on the table that Aizen had left. As he dashed out, as Madara sighed, he forgot that Naruto loved to run. Time skip. Madara was impressed. Never had he thought Naruto had such skill. Naruto had struggled with ninjutsu that was a shameful sight for Uchiha. But the boy had another skill, and it was kinjutsu. The way he held his tanto, his firm and flexible stance, and his speed, and the way he danced with the weapon, it was amazing. The fact that he was making Madara put effort into the fight was a testimony of his skill. As Naruto released 3 shuriken and threw them towards Madara, as Madara deflected them as Naruto used the seconds to get close. Madara anticipated a fast strike from Naruto, but what Naruto did next surprised him even more. His brother tried to sweep away his legs. Madara jumped quickly in the air as he brought his tanto downwards. As Naruto blocked it with his own tanto, Madara launched a kick towards his chest as Naruto dodged it at the last second. He was not given any rest as Madara released a dozen shuriken towards him. Naruto in turn grabbed similar weapons as he jumped in the air. As he threw, countering all of his brother's shurikens. Flipping in the air, he brought his tanto down towards a shocked Madara. But he received a reverse kick that sent him crashing across the ground as he spat blood. He tried to get back up to show his brother that he was not hurt, but yet his chest hurt. You did good, said Madara. Hearing that, Naruto smiled, receiving praise from his elder brother. That was rare. He even helped him get back on his feet as he showed him a jutsu that will complement his skills. You're good with weapons, your accuracy is good. So let me teach you how to make your shurikens attack more deadly and more long range. As Naruto nodded, Madara showed him 3 hand signs that Naruto learned quickly. Next, Madara told him about the chakra that he had to use to make his attacks more deadly. As Naruto threw a single shuriken and performed hand signs infused in his chakra, Naruto watched as his single shuriken turned into several and struck several different targets. Good, you have to make your hand signs faster on the battlefield. A second of delay could cost your life. Yes, brother, said Naruto. As Madara nodded as he turned away, until Naruto spoke. You do care about me, he asked. As those words struck Madara, Madara had good self-control though. You are my brother. As the eldest, it's my duty to protect you, he said. Naruto smiled happily. Madara couldn't understand why he was so happy. All he did was teach him a simple jutsu, which anyone else could have done. But the way that Naruto was smiling, it was like he was given a mountain of gold. The boy was strange. He was distracted from his thoughts though. When he saw Izuna storm towards his room, he looked furious. Naruto, go get some rest in your room. But now, said Madara. As Naruto huffed, Madara raised his eyebrow, but Naruto went towards his room 2 seconds later. As Madara turned his head towards Izuna's door, it was best to let Izuna feel when he was angry. As he looked back towards where Naruto had went off, maybe Izuna was right about him, maybe it was not that bad. Yet he couldn't help wonder why Izuna was so mad. A week later, Madara found his answer as he stood on the battlefield, with a large number of his clansmen and all of his brothers. Tajima stood in front of the whole field, standing there, as there was 300 of them, 300 strong Uchihas. They were behind the great Tama River, a water source that has been controlled by the Senju for centuries, but it will soon become under the control of the Uchiha. Losing this will harm the Senjus more, and it will gain the Uchihas a lot of key people that has been flocking towards the Senju recently. He stared at his sons, all of who were going to participate in the battle. Madara was composed and ready as he always was. Yashara and Inabi were eager to fight and kill their enemies. Izuna was furious. Instead of standing by his father, he was standing around his youngest brother, protectively. Naruto faces a mixture of apprehension, fear, and excitement. He was a child of 5 and normally, it would be a few months before he joined his family in this endless conflict. But Tajima had seen Naruto struggle with ninjutsu and doubted Naruto could learn the fireball jutsu before the rite of passage came, and if he failed it would dishonor their family amongst their clan. So Tajima had brought him here to make him see what dangers awaits him, and that he had to change his ways and become more like his brothers. If Naruto performed well, perhaps their clan member would ignore his lack in ninjutsu progress, and if he died, at least he would die with honor, with a tanto in hand. He would die like a true Uchiha. Izuna was furious and he argued with the man every day to revoke his decision, but Tajima already made it and he was going to take it back. His younger son would either become a true Uchiha or die as one on this battlefield. Naruto. As Naruto looked up, stick them with a pointy end, okay? Naruto smiled and nodded as he gripped his small tanto in his hand. Soon enough he heard the war horn blowing, and he saw movements coming from the woods. Warriors clad in armor rushed out with their swords and weapons, their cries of war being returned by the Uchihas in equal ferocity. As they charged, Naruto noticed that the enemy had armor while his clan didn't have such protection. For some reason Naruto found that strange and stupid. As Naruto noticed a black rain coming down, he didn't realize it was kunas and shurikens. Some of the Uchihas were not fortunate enough to deflect, as they fell, blood pouring out of all the wounds. Naruto watching complete horror as his elder brother Inabi fell to the ground clutching his throat where a sharp kunai lay buried. He waited for his mean older brother to get up, but Inabi did not move. As blood started to pool around his corpse, he was dead. The battlefield was engulfed in chaos. People screaming and clashing. Men and women fought against each other and tried to kill each other as viciously and as savagely as possible. Naruto saw Yashiro cried in agony as he leaped forward to stab a teenage Senju in the belly. As Yashiro was spin and slashed down to him more before he was stabbed 3 times at once by 3 different Senju. Yashiro grinned as he dropped one kunai from his pouch. It was an explosive tag. The explosion ripped Yashiro to pieces and the 3 men. As Naruto watched the chaos happen in front of him, anger took over Naruto as he rushed forward. He shot forward as he sliced a Senju knee, seeing that he couldn't go for the armor. As the man dropped to the ground crying in pain, the last thing the man saw was Naruto Tanto being buried in his brain. As Naruto deflected a dozen shuriken that were aimed to kill him, in his bloodlust, he charged forward, stepping over dead bodies and spilled guts. A Senju woman tried to raise her weapon fast, but Naruto sliced right through her neck brutally. He hacked, he slashed, he ran, he fell, he got back up, he stabbed, he skewered. His mind was in a daze as he slaughtered Senjus. Yashiro and Inabi were always mean to him, but they were his brothers, and these bad men killed them. He whirled around as he sensed an incoming attack as he blocked a Tonto from taking his head off. He was snapped out of his rage as he noticed it was a young girl. She had blonde hair that barely reached her shoulders, bright green eyes that were full of anger and fear. Her little body was covered in heavy Senju armor and she was the same age as him. Naruto roared in anger as she flinched. He used that moment to disarm her as he kicked her down to the ground. Covered in blood and guts, he moved forward to end her life. As he raised his blade to stab her, but he stopped. He stopped because she was crying, her green eyes staring at him, fear and pleading. His hands shook as he saw her cry, a girl the same age as him, and he wanted to kill her. But then he noticed Senju's symbol on her armor, as his 2 brothers just got killed by Senjus. Snatty! He looked up to see 4 angry young boys charging towards him. There was murder in their eyes as he looked towards his Tonto that was close to her neck. Naruto jumped over her as he met those 4 head on. The first to meet him was a boy with silver hair and cold eyes as their blades clashed. He was stronger as he pushed Naruto back at the remaining boys, close in for the kill. They were too close as Naruto knew that he was gonna die. Until a flash as a shadow jumped inside, blocking all of the blades. "You will not kill my brother, Senju!" Izuna yelled. "Naruto, stay back!" As Naruto nodded and took a position behind his older brother. The silver hair boy charged once again as Izuna met him head on as Naruto blocked the other's 2 blades, one with half black and white and one with silver and brown hair. As Naruto pushed the blades back, suddenly another Uchiha ran into the battle and stabbed the brown haired Senju from behind. The Senju crumbled down to the ground as the other one stabbed the Uchiha in the chest. The silver hair boy that was fighting Izuna roared in anger as he knocked Izuna's blade away and stabbed Izuna right in the chest. Naruto cried for his brother as Izuna punched the silver hair boy, knocking him away. The mixed hair Senju boy tried to attack Izuna, but Izuna slashed him across the eye, sending him screaming away. As Naruto ran forward to catch his brother, as he collapsed right on top of him, he was unable to hold him up with his tiny arms. "Izuna! Izuna!" said Naruto. Izuna touched his chest as he brought his hand back up that was covered in blood. "Izuna!" Naruto screamed. Izuna coughed, coughing up blood as he placed a hand on Naruto's cheek. It was all getting so dark. The only thing he heard was the noise of battle. And Naruto cries filling his ear. The noises of battle started to get washed out as well. Be happy, little brother, he said, as Naruto's eyes widened when his brother's hand dropped from his cheek. It wasn't moving anymore. Izuna, big brother, get up, please. I won't go outside the walls anymore. Please, just get up, said Naruto, as tears started to fill his eyes. As he shook his brother, but nothing. As he shook him, but nothing. As he started to cry. No! A voice screamed. As he turned to see Madara, with a horrified look on his face. As Madara roared, as a wave of chakra was unleashed from his body, sending the nearby warriors to their knees. The anger in Madara's eyes were pronounced as he moved and sliced the nearest Senju in half. As Naruto saw that many Senjus were charging towards Madara to take him down. As Naruto pushed and got on his feet as he shot forward. He was not strong as his brothers, but he was faster than them. A skill he showed as he slashed Senju's feet as he moved. Madara wreaked carnage across the battlefield, slaughtering anyone in his path, taking them down with shurikens, fireballs, and his blade. And Naruto simply sliced their legs down, cutting them down one by another. It was like a tidal wave was released as the Uchihas gathered up behind Madara. As he moved forward as Naruto was in the fray as well, Senjus after Senjus were cut down. Naruto didn't know how long he fought or how many he killed, or how many of his own clansmen died in the charge. He was angry and hurt. Another horn went off as Senju started to flee. Run, you tree huggers! Victory! Fire and blood, the Uchiha shouted as Naruto slumped on the ground. As he lay there emotionlessly, he felt a pain in his right arm and on his left cheek, but he did not care because Izuna was dead. Yashiro and Inibi as well. Many Uchiha huddled around him as they lifted him on their shoulder, calling him a hero, the young dragon. But they had to space apart as Madara rushed in, looking for his last living brother. As Naruto was lowered to the ground when he was grabbed by a strong pair of arms holding on to him tightly, he slowly looked up to see that it was Madara who was holding on to him. Naruto slumped in Madara's arms and cried as his brother held on to him. The Uchihas looked on with shock as Tajima came over. His eyes went wide. Impossible. As he stared into the eyes of his son, they were red with tomos in them. The Sharingan was reborn. Time skip. Madara walked silently towards the gate for the rest of the clan. The Uchihas had received their biggest victory in a decade. And not to mention the famous bloodline had been reborn. Madara had set out though with 300 of his clansmen and 4 of his little brothers. But he came back with 3 bodies and half the number of his comrades. His only solace was he didn't lose all of his siblings and Madara. That gave Madara the strength to protect Naruto. He and Madara never been the best of good friends, but after losing what they had, he was all Naruto had left. Their father didn't even blink an eye upon seeing the 3 bodies of his sons. They died with honor and their sacrifice gave us Sharingan back. There's no need to shed any tears, boys. At the moment, Madara was happy that his father had a black eye, courtesy of Naruto when he said that. As Naruto was really pissed off to hear that his brothers died. To awaken his eyes, he didn't care about that. His brothers died, so Naruto punched him right in the face. Tajima never expected anything like that, so he was not prepared for Naruto to jump and punch him right in the face. He had the blood of a dragon inside of him. That was what they called the Uchihas after all. The dragons. Red eyes. Fires. But Tajima did not take it lightly as he was about to hit Naruto back. But he saw the hatred and anger in those Sharingan eyes that froze him. That hesitant gave Madara the time to pull Naruto back and apologize on Naruto's behalf, the young dragon. As Madara looked towards Naruto was carrying the jars of their brother's ashes. The boy was silent, his eyes seemingly blank. Madara only saw the corpses, but Naruto watched. All of them died right in front of him. Izuna's death had broke something in him, yet ignite something more dangerous as well. He was brought to his thoughts by the roar and cheers of people waiting for them. Despite what he had suffered in the past week, Madara couldn't help but feel his people. Tajima nodded as he started to give a promising speech about many more victories against the Senjus. And when he introduced the rebirth of the Sharingan amongst his 2 sons, The entire clan gasped in surprise, as a cheer that came after that was even greater than the one announcing their victory. Some older and younger teared up, realizing their beloved Sharingan was back in their blood, as he pointed towards his two sons. My two sons achieved victory for us, and together they shall help us conquer the entire world. Today before the gods, pledge your loyalty and services to Madara, the invincible dragon, and Naruto, the young dragon, the future of the House Uchiha. Without hesitation, the clan bowed. As Madara stepped forward, he activated Sharingan as he saw their hopes and dreams with his new eyes. They were trusting him to win their lost glory back, and he will not fail them. He looked at his father, who was looking at him with absolute pride and confidence. He remembers seeing his clansmen, his people dying, his brothers, as he clenched his fists. I will bring fire and blood to the Senjus, he roared. As he held his blade in the air, the clan roared alongside him, as it was now time for Naruto to bring himself forward. Madara saw a look in Naruto's eyes. He could tell that his brother had changed. As Naruto spoke, we lost 154 people in battle, including my 3 brothers, he said, as Tajima felt his blood run cold. The people will sing songs about their sacrifice, Tajima said. But Naruto shook his head. Yes, but my brothers, our warriors, will not hear them. That struck everyone as they looked at the jars containing their fallen. The excitement died down as people realized the price that was paid, and Naruto stepped forward. We fought without strategy, like wild animals. We fought without armors, believing in our superiority. We are powerful warriors, but we're men as well. We bleed and die just like the Senjus, if not from the sacrifice of my brother and Madara's carnage, we would have lost, Naruto said. That's enough, Tajima said, as he growled. He was silenced though when Naruto activated his two-totem Sharingan and glared at him, as Naruto turned back towards the people who were just giving a slap of reality in their face. One victory does not make us conquerors. This war is far from over, and if we are to defeat the Senju, we must fight smarter. Outsmart them both on the battlefield and off as well. We are Uchihas, the strongest and most noblest house of this world. We are the blood of the dragon, and we shall regain it all that we have lost, but only if we fight together. Only if we learn from our mistakes. Stunned silence came as Naruto released his Tanto up in the air. The sheer amount of courage and determination in those eyes drew the entire clan much to Tazuma's surprise. Are you with me? Said Naruto. Madara feared that his brother spoke too much truth that his people were not ready to hear. But amongst the warriors, there was movement, as Madara recognized the first 3 boys that kneel, followed by several others. Naruto-sama speak truly, and I believe him. My sword is yours to command, now and always, one of the boys said. His name was Shisui Uchiha. I pledge my life to you, young dragon. Promise, Itachi Uchiha. The last one raised his sword as the rest of the clan followed. The young dragon, Tajima Uchiha said. As Naruto remained still as he watched the people pledge their loyalty to him without hesitation, as Madara's eyes widened as he saw a glimpse of someone in Naruto. Izuna. His younger brother was not weak yet inherited Izuna's will, and as the eldest, Madara had to protect him. With a smile, Madara joined his people to support his brother for the first time in his life. Time skip. Tajima watched his youngest son standing near the lake. Madara was gaining quite the popularity amongst the older generations, but Naruto was also developing quite the follow amongst the younger generations, with the 3 powerful Uchiha family pledging their life to him. Those 3 boys, yes, they were from powerful families. Naruto was different though. He has always been from the moment he learned to speak. That boy, he's something else, isn't he? A voice spoke. Tajima turned to face his only sibling left in his world, Niri. Long, flowing purple hair that reached her waist. Her skin was fair, more than Tajima's, and she had a figure that made many in the clan desire her. Yet she had not married despite reaching the age of 19. He himself was 26 years old, which was quite old in this world, as not many lived past the age of 30 because of constant war. His sister had inherited the grace and beauty from their mother, while he followed in his father's footsteps to become the leader of the house. Niri had been a fighter once before. She lost her only lover against the Sarutobi clan. It made her lose the will to fight, and she retired. But despite Tajima's worry, she was managing the administration of their clan. She was also the representative when they talked to the clan allies, and he only relaxed around her, so when she hugged him, he did not resist. For only now, when it was him and his sister, did he allow himself to remember his 3 sons that just perished out there in the battlefield. They had died as true shinobis, and he would make sure that their sacrifice would be remembered as true Uchihas. I'm sorry, brother. Do not dishonor my sons, Niri. He warned, but his tone was not harsh or cold. They were boys, brother. He broke the hug as he looked at her. She should be married by now, giving birth to their next generation. But then again, his sister has always been a wild one, and only her lover's death had stolen her fire. In that way, she was not much different from Naruto, seeing that the both of them did what they wanted. She touched his swollen eye and laughed, as she had found out that Naruto was the one that hit him. You find this funny, he said. You only have yourself to blame, never provoke a dragon. As he scoffed, he's young and foolish. She stared at him, as he sighed, but he has a sharp mind. He infuriates so much, but he's a dragon indeed. I never thought my youngest to awaken or prize eyes, and it gave me hope for him. But he's terrible with ninjutsu, Tajima said bitterly. Brother, you can be quite dense at times, she said. Watch it, he said. Or what? You will harm me? Your only sister? She asked. He grit his teeth, but she was right. Despite their faults, they care about the ones closest to them. Madara is the heir and the right one to lead the clan in the future, but he will need his brother, more than now. But the boys are different. You take Madara under your tutelage, and I'll take Naruto under mine. No. They're my sons. I'll train them, he said. She gave him a pointed look, as she looked towards his black eye. Young dragons are dangerous creatures, brother. You have done well by Madara. But Naruto is wild. He is more like me. The more you try to suppress him, the more he will rebel, and he will burn everything around him. He needs a different touch. You will only make him soft. Her eyes turned cold and icy. She was ruthless to those that harmed her or her family, and she was not naive. I'm sorry, he said. She gave my ease a smile. She patted him on the shoulder. Niri was a big part of this. Without her, many things would fall apart, but she never gloated about the power that she held in her hand. And she was always helping him no matter what. No matter what he said or how arrogant he acted. Fine, handle the boy. God no, I cannot. As she chuckled a bit, softly. Time skip. Madara had found Naruto later that night. He was still sitting by the lake. As Naruto tensed a bit, sensing him coming, but he calmed down when he realized it was his brother. He took a seat beside the boy, who didn't say anything. So Madara pressed a lunchbox into his arm. Eat. I'm not hungry, said Naruto, as he noticed a similar lunchbox in Madara's lap. Madara's eyebrow twitched at defiance, but then again, he did not expect anything else. His brother was stubborn, after all. Izuna would have known how to make him accept, but Izuna was gone now, and now it left Madara the responsibility of looking after the child. Fine, then I'm not eating either, said Madara, as he threw his lunchbox in the lake. Naruto's eyes widened as he gasped, before he turned an angry glare towards his brother. Idiot brother, said Naruto. Madara simply laid himself down. If you don't want to eat, fine. But I'm not eating without you, said Madara. I don't care, said Naruto, as he cursed, as Madara chuckled, as his childish rant made Madara focus on him and keep his mind off other things, and it was doing the same for Naruto. Still, Naruto did not touch a lunchbox until his stomach grumbled loudly. As he blushed in embarrassment as Madara laughed, he turned his face, as Madara ruffled his hair. Izuna, said Naruto, I said I don't... He paused. When he realized it was Madara rubbing his hair, the two of them went silent for several long moments, until Naruto opened the lunchbox and gave it to Madara. The gesture said it all, as Madara grabbed and picked up the rice. As he offered to Naruto, Madara gave him a glare. As Naruto opened his mouth, the food, the smell, he hadn't eaten anything since morning. As he opened his mouth as Madara placed it in his mouth, they ate in silence with Madara helping him eat, and him doing the same for himself. Brother, is there a way to bring them back? A jutsu, a technique, something, said Naruto. They're all gone, Naruto. I'm sorry, said Madara. He truly felt awful, but Madara knew it was not possible. Their brothers, they were dead. They were reduced to ashes. I miss them, said Naruto. Even Inabi and Yashiro. As Madara knew the twins hadn't been kind to the boy. Yes, they were my brothers, all of them. Madara placed the lunchbox to the side as he pulled Naruto into a hug. Naruto did not relent. as he hugged back his brother. I miss them too, and I'm sorry for not being there for you, said Madara. Realized that he was wrong in ignoring his brother for so long, Naruto did not say anything for a while. Just don't leave me, he finally said. As Madara's grip got tighter, never, he promised. Now, quit getting depressed and moody all the time, or I'll bonk you on the head, Madara said in a teasing tone. How will you even hit me when you're fat and slow, said Naruto. Madara looked down to see if he has gained some weight, but he had not. He also realized that Naruto was no longer there, as a small rock hit him on the head. As he turned to see Naruto standing in the lake, "You brat," Madara yelled as he got to his feet. As Naruto ran, but Madara jumped on him as he lost struck control, as he crashed right into the cold water, as the both of them swim back to the surface, and collapse as they laugh. Unknown to both brothers, Niri and Tajima smiled as they were watching over the boys. The next day, Naruto was surprised on seeing her. He barely had hazy memories of his aunt. He remembered her telling him stories, although those memories were rare. He remembered crying for her when she went away. Izuna said she would come back someday, but he had not believed it, and he had forgotten about her, and that made him feel guilty. At least her kind smile was there as she cuffed his cheek. "You've grown up quite a lot," she said. "Yes," said Naruto, as Niri could feel the awkwardness between them. Well, knowing Tajima, he probably let the boys stay away from others. He didn't even have a good relationship with the opposite sex, she guessed. "Since you awaken your Sharingan, Tajima, sees it fit that I take over your training, while he does the same for Madara," as she waited, as his face fell. Oh, as he looked betrayed. His father betrayed him once again. But he shouldn't have expected anything else. His father never wanted to train him. Niri knelt down as she grabbed his cheeks. She saw kindness in his eyes despite everything he's been through. "He wanted to train you, but I asked for you myself." His eyes widened in shock. It pained her to see that he was grasping so much to get love from his own family, but she was gonna fix that mistake. "Really? Obasan?" said Naruto. Her eyebrow twitched. She was 19. Why was he calling her Obasan? "Yes, and you call me Niri only," she said. But she poked him in the forehead as he scowled. But he then grinned as he poked her back. Niri grinned. Maybe her wild nephew was still in there after all. "I'm glad you're back. I missed you," he said happily. "So am I," she said. She hugged him, thinking her own child would have the same hair as him if Akame had lived. It pained her every day thinking about her dead lover and the family that they wanted to have. When they parted, she presented him with a slip of paper, which he looked at curiously. "What's this?" "Tajima told me about your problem with fire ninjutsu." He cringed and looked away in shame, but she gripped his hand, making him look back at her. "It's not everyone to have the same chakra types. Not all Uchihas are fire masters." "But I'm a dragon," he said. She laughed kindly at his remark. Her clan obsession with that mythical creature that may or may not exist. "Well, little dragon, I want you to pour your chakra into this paper." "Why?" he asked. Her eyebrow twitched, but she didn't bump him over the head. "Just do it, please," she said. "It will be a surprise." "Okay," he said as he took it. As he poured his chakra into the paper, as he was worried and excited about the results, he frowned and half of it became wet and the other half it crinkled. He looked back at her. She had a shocked expression on her face. "What does it mean?" She looked at him surprised. "Water and lightning?" Now that was surprising. But guys, if you ain't so right here, if you want to see next part, so do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notification as they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, go ahead and check out the brand new series over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto Was Exiled from the Otsutsuki clan, and enjoy that, guys. And also, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Put Through Hell and Adopted by the Raikage over Anime King 2. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.